Today's story is a Hollow's End, Charlie's Department Store crossover. Written by Ashley Watson, the author of the Charlie's Department Store series. Book 2 of this series is out now, so please check out the description below for a link, and I hope you'll support the author if you can. Now, on to today's story. Good morning, Miss Boudreau. I looked at Irene, the receptionist of this hellhole, and sighed. Is it though? I asked. I looked down the long hallway before us. Its black and white checkerboard pattern had several scuffs across its tiles, probably from a plethora of wheelchairs and gurneys traveling down it through the years. As good as it's gonna get, she remarked, before her metallic blue-shaded eyes slid back to her magazine. That's what I was afraid of, Irene, I said before responding. This might make it better, she said, as she slid a couple of magazines toward me across the reception counter. A grin lit up my face. Oh my gosh, Irene, thank you. The corners of her thin, blush-pink lips perked upward. Don't let Nurse Hateful catch you with them. Last time she yapped my ear off for an hour over a copy of US Weekly. Wasn't even one of the good editions. I rolled my eyes. I know, right? Harriet's such a buzzkill. After glancing around to make sure the coast was clear, I rolled up the magazines and shoved them into the waistline of my pants, using my baggy, Asylum-issued sweatshirt to my advantage. I couldn't wait to read them after group therapy, which was beginning soon. Down the hall, I could see Miss Sally, the Asylum's resident counselor, beckoning several other patients towards the common room. She gave me a wave and a gentle smile. Come join us, Miss Boudreau. Slowly, I meandered down the hall toward her. As if I have a choice, Miss Sally. Oh, perk up, hon, she prompted in her ever-cheerful voice. I brought donuts this morning. She leaned in closer and, in a much quieter voice, said, I set aside a couple of jelly-filled ones for you. They're under the piano cover. A warm feeling entered me, and I smiled once again. Being one of the asylum's longest tenured residents had its plus sides, despite how bleak the rest of the place was. Contrary to the name, it wasn't much of an asylum, just a small wing on the outskirts of the Hollow's End Hospital, which wasn't much of a hospital either. Underfunded and long overdue for a renovation. It had been my home for the last 2 years, and I hated that more than anything. Sure, there were nice people, but I didn't want to be here. Who would? I was attempting to discreetly sneak a donut out of the piano when Miss Sally found me again. Can I ask you for a favor? She asked, with a timid smile on her face. Ah, so the donuts are payment, I responded. She chuckled half-heartedly, her gaze lost somewhere in the distance. We have a newbie today. A shy one. Her name is Francine. Mm-hmm, I said, mid-chew. Like from The Nanny. She gave another half-hearted chuckle at my sitcom trivia, before continuing her previous discussion topic. The thing is, you two have similar backgrounds. Her eyes returned to me, and I could see the pity in them. I hated it so much that I had to look away. I was hoping you'd feel comfortable sharing your story. It might help to make her feel comfortable enough to do the same. From the circle of chairs set up in the middle of the room, laughter broke out. Jeremiah sat at the head of the circle, closest to the door. He had a cheesy grin on his face, making it clear he had been the teller of the joke everyone was laughing at. He brushed his dirty blonde bangs away from his forehead with one hand. We made eye contact, and I quickly looked away, hiding my blush by taking another bite of my donut. What do you say? Asked Miss Sally. Hope had filled her eyes, which made it hard not to agree. I looked down at the donut in my hand. Jelly slowly oozed out of the bite I had taken. It looked a little too similar to blood, so I had to look away. I will, I told her. Compared to the last group therapy session, I think the asylum would consider today's turnout optimal. Almost every seat within the 10-chair circle was filled, if you counted Miss Sally into the mix. The only two that were empty were the seats on either side of our newcomer, Francine. That may sound a little sad for her, but the last person to join our disordered bunch stabbed Rebecca, another long-term resident, with a toothbrush turned shiv. Because of that, I didn't blame them for wanting to keep their distance. I had spaced out for the beginning of our session, but I tuned back in when Miss Sally asked, "Would you like to share, Maura?" Her hopeful gaze was trained on me once more. With a sigh, I slumped in my chair and crossed my arms over my chest. I could feel everyone's eyes on me, which made me 10 times more nervous. My cheeks grew red as I began my usual spiel, the one reserved for nosy doctors who treated me as a dinner party conversation piece, rather than a human being. I told them what they wanted to hear. I have schizophrenia, and I was kidnapped by body morphers. I closed my eyes as the memories came flooding back. Fast asleep, I awakened to a series of gunshots, followed by an overwhelming level of light. Like the sun was floating above me, but really I was just in a hole. A den, actually. It was so bright that I felt like I had been trapped inside a human-sized sconce. But really, there were just a lot of light shoved into the pit's dirt walls. All battery-powered, obviously. They really liked lights. It helped their cold bodies mimic warmth better. I lifted a hand to cover my eyes, and realized I was covered in dirt, grime, and a sticky black sludge. Black lines of dirt filled the edges of my nails. A figure appeared above me. It took a second for him to come into focus. The figure was a man wearing tactical gear. He was speaking to me, but I couldn't hear him over the ringing in my ears. "Maura?" called out Miss Sally, bringing me back to reality. "Sorry," I said with a shake of my head. She gave me a smile. "It's okay. You can continue." I nodded. "They held me captive for... I think..." I cringed, instantly regretting my choice of words. The doctors didn't like me saying, "I think." They wanted direct, sure answers. I did my best to play it off as if I had just lost my train of thought. 6 months. For 6 months, I had imagined the loving faces of my family. I went about what I had thought was my day-to-day life, interacting with them, making memories with them, and I even spent a few holidays and my brother's birthday with them. The whole time, my real family had actually been beneath me, cocooned within a flesh sack woven together by the monsters who had taken me. "And how are you doing now?" I shrugged. "Good?" She smiled. "And would you say you've blossomed during your stay with us?" I wouldn't exactly call it blossomed, but it hadn't been that terrible. "Yeah," I replied simply. "Well, thank you for sharing with us, Maura," she said. "Guys, I know it can feel scary to share your story, but I want you all to remember that this circle is a safe space. Does anyone else feel comfortable enough to share?" Her question was met with a moment of uncomfortable silence. She turned to Francine. Weirdly enough, her hair was big, dark, and curly, like the main character of The Nanny. I had always been envious of her hair. Francine shook her head. "I'm okay," she said in a quiet voice. "Are you sure?" asked Miss Sally. "It's okay. You're safe here." She shook her head again, her fluffy hair bouncing. "Well, anyone else?" Miss Sally asked the room. I could see her struggling to hide the disappointment from her face. A guy I hadn't previously noticed raised his hand. He must have snuck in when I wasn't paying attention. He had taken one of the empty seats beside Francine. Miss Sally motioned for him to speak, but instead of sharing like I had, he locked eyes with me and asked, "Are you Maura Beauregard?" What?" I asked. I glanced around the room to see if anyone else was as weirded out as I was, but they were all staring at me too. This time, I awakened with a scream. The man above me staggered backward, a terrified look on his face. His boots squished in the black sludge that filled the base of the body morpher's den. It was also caked onto my body, even thicker than it had been last time. How long had I been here? "Are you Mora Beauregard?" repeated the man. "Leave me alone," I cried out. "I wanted to stay here." I rolled over, shoving myself deeper into the muck. My hands dug through it, searching for the flesh sacks that contained my family members. With the pale, pink flesh pulled taut across each corpse, it was easy to discern their features. But none of the ones within my eyesight resembled my loved ones. I yanked one of the lights free from the dirt to see better. "Ma'am," said the man gently, "I don't want to go back. I want to stay with my family." He took a few steps toward me, and I flung the light at his legs. "I said, leave me alone." One of his comrades jumped down into the hole and landed on one of the body morpher's heads. Its slimy inside splattered against my face, but I was too busy digging to care. "She said she doesn't want to go back," the first man informed him. "We have orders from Dr. Schmidt to bring her back." My body tensed at the mention of that name. I wished that evil man had never taken over the asylum. He was no doctor, and I refused to go back there and be another one of his guinea pigs. Plus, these things have fucked up the chemicals in her head more than they already were. She's too loony to think for herself. My head swiveled toward him. "Fuck you." He rolled his eyes. "Enough playing pretend, little girl." Kind of ironic, considering he barely looked older than me. "It's time to get up." "Over my dead body," I said as I went back to digging. "That can be arranged if you choose not to cooperate." I was abruptly lifted by my armpits and feet. The black sludge dripped from my bare skin and onto the flesh sacks. "Let me go," I exclaimed while bucking like a deer, which sent even more goop flying in all directions. "Quit fucking moving," ordered the asshole. "We're doing this for your own good," said the first man. "Don't even bother wasting your breath. She won't listen to reason." At last I quit moving and let my body go limp. Even if I gave up now, I knew this wasn't the end. I would keep fighting. "Keep believing the bullshit they tell you, Captain Dickhead. I'll just escape again," I promised. Become a channel member today for early access, bonus videos, and special emojis only available to members. Check out the description below or click the join button for more info. If you'd like another way to help support the channel, please consider joining my Patreon page at patreon.com/JordanGroupHorror. As a patron, you'll get access to bonus videos and content. You'll be credited at the end of every video going forward, and if you decide to stay for 3 months, I'll name a character after you which will be featured in a Hollow's End story. Links to join the Patreon are in the description. Thanks everyone for listening. Please like, subscribe, and comment to help the channel continue to grow, and see you again next time at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you have a great night.